Hey YouTube, this morning I started working on getting my greenhouse hydroponic stuff together and I'll show you a couple of things that I've done. But in the meantime, I need to get some plumbing work done for inside of it. So in case you've never done any plumbing, what you need is some tinning flux. This is to solder. Some solder, which my dog decided to chew on the plastic, and the copper tubing. Now I'll show you what I'm going to do with this copper as I go on. I had heated this a little bit. What you do is you put a little bit of tinning flux on the inside of this. Okay, you have to clean the pipe off really good. Clean the pipe off inside and out. You can use sandpaper, a Brillo pad. I use this thing. I've had these for years, a bunch of them. So anyway, you get your torch turned on, and then heat this fitting up. You don't want to really heat the pipe, you want to heat the fitting. Put a little bit of flux on the end of your thing. What you do is heat that, stick it in the flux. You don't need much on there, very little, as long as you have it on the inside. And when you see that copper fitting start to turn a little bit blue, or just change color, you'll know it's time to put the solder down. You can test it by touching it. You can see it's melting there. And all you do is, as soon as this is hot enough to actually flow, not quite, you can see on the sides there the copper is turning color maybe. I'm just testing it there to see if it's, there it goes. So now I'm just running halfway around. If you want to, you can turn the fitting around and check it, but I've done a lot of this, so I know that if I just heat the top and let it flow, when it starts to drip, it's usually full. So that's what I've done there. Let me take the camera off here. So anyway, that's a cap actually. I'm going to be drilling holes in this copper. You can see I have my four-wheeler to help me bring everything over here. And on the other end I have an adapter here. And what I'm going to be putting on that, I want to be able to hook a garden hose to this. So I'll show you my greenhouse here, what I have in mind. Now there's one set of buckets there with the copper. It's just laying on top for now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put, well, I already have one on here. I'm putting this hose fitting on here. And the reason for that is once I put this in here, I can hook a hose onto this and I can adjust the throttling of the water. Now I have to drill holes in this copper. I'm not sure what size yet to drill because I want to figure this out, how much water goes through this from my pump. But what I'll have is I'll have these copper pipe on top of these buckets. But besides that, and what's more important, I started something else. So if you look at these Rubbermaid containers, they're 41 quart size. Now there's a lot of people do this different ways. What I'm doing is I'm making ponds. Let me just go around here. And it's not very warm today. It's only 50 in here, and that's higher because of the greenhouse effect. But anyway, what I do is I fill these with water. These take 7 gallons of water. Put the lid on, fasten it down, and what I'll do is I'll put a piece of black plastic over that to try and keep any sunlight from getting in there, because you get the algae growing. I'll take a basket. Now these need to be clean. These are from last year. I'll clean a basket. I'll use, and I also buy stone over at Lowe's, which you can get it anywhere. If you go into a quarry, they'll probably give it to you. But this stone, this is known as 1B to a construction worker like me. So I use that as the filler for the basket. So what I'll do is I'll take a container of 1B stone and I'll put the plant so that the roots are at the very bottom of this thing, and then I'll fill it with 1B stone. And then what I'll do is just simply set it in here, and you can see that it's high enough that, or low enough that the water will be against the plant. And that is how I'll do these things here. Now remember the part about putting it covering it with plastic. So I'll lay a piece of plastic on it, mark off 4 holes, cut them out with a pair of scissors, leave the plastic drape over it, and then I can go from there. And I can add water to these either through the baskets, or I can just pick up the corner to check how the roots are going and fill them up. You can see I got 3, 6, 7, two of them are in my, actually it's my office over there that I grow plants, but 2 of these other Rubbermaid containers are in my office, and I'll be bringing them over later. But for now, I have broccoli and cabbage that I need to transplant because it's getting very big. Hey, bullseye. It's getting big and I want to get it into this water. I have a dilemma here. If you look at the weather, the weather's calling for 37 degrees tonight. Now, you can see I'm not totally finished with the greenhouse, although for all intents and purposes there's nothing wrong with the inside of this. It's watertight. However, the eaves there, which would be right in that area, all the way along, are not, covered up. And because I'm not going to be insulating this, I can seal them up with some insulation to keep heat in. But in the summer, I really don't want the heat to be stopped. I want it to be able to flow through. So the problem here is when to bring these plants out here or have some kind of heat. So I've tried this little heater, but actually it doesn't work too well. I mean, the heater works good, but it's not got enough heat to heat this. I think that thing's only like 10,000 BTUs. Even if it was 20,000, it's not enough. But I have a 150,000 BTU heater that I'm going to use to heat this thing up. And probably once I get that hooked up, I'll bring the plants in here, and then I'll set the thermostat on that so that it at least keeps it 50 degrees in here, if nothing else. So that's where I'm at so far with the greenhouse, as far as getting the hydroponics set up. So I thought if I could get a video right from the very start of what I do, it would be a lot easier. So, like I say, these things take 7 gallons of water. They're 41 quarts, it said, I think, on the side. Fill this with stone, put a piece of plastic over top of, fill this with stone, fill a piece of plastic, cut the holes out, put your plants in, and what I'll do is I'll take them out of the perlite that they're in right now and just sort of shake them off a little bit, or dip them in water to get them clean. Put them in here so the roots are all the way at the bottom. You don't want any roots up over the top because they'll die, they'll shrivel up. So you put them on the bottom, cover the whole thing with stone until you're up above the basket line where the holes are there, and then just stick them in. And you don't have to do nothing else to this except make sure they have water with the chemicals in, for the hydroponics. So, okay, YouTube, my camera's not that great. It's probably going to die on me any second, but that's where I'm at so far. So have a good day. Bye.